What's up, everyone? Redfin CEO Glen Kelman said recently to expect a lot more pain coming from the housing market downturn. In this recent article on MarketWatch, Kelman talks about everything from affordability issues to investors to even what's happening in Canada, as they've now recently banned any foreigner from buying property in Canada for the next 2 years. So let's take a look at what he was saying, because some of it was interesting, I guess. I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that. So let's just dive right in. After the 2 recent layoffs by Redfin, Kelman says that he hopes things can get better from here, but doesn't think that that's happened quite yet. And as we all know, housing is simply unaffordable between the high prices and the high mortgage rates. But Kelman seems to sympathize with young Americans who are priced out of the market. This is what he said. "It's just a roommate generation now, where people are staying with their parents, living in the basement, or just shacking up with friends longer because home prices and rents have both gotten so far out of hand." Interestingly, rents have actually dropped for the 4th month in a row in December, Apartment List said in its monthly national rents report. Rents decreased in December in 90 of the nation's largest 100 cities, the report stated, with prices down by 3% month over month. Kelman thinks that would-be sellers are now choosing to rent out their homes rather than sell them in this changing market, thus creating more rental inventory and keeping the prices down. I just find it really interesting that Kelman is now seeming to sympathize with these young buyers, first-time buyers, when his iBuyer program, which failed and shut down recently, was made up of homes that these buyers could have possibly bought if they weren't competing with investors who use cash. Which leads me to his next subject, investors. When talking about investors, Kelman says that they are still out on the prowl and they are actually scouring disaster zones for deals. In 2021, investors bought 24% of all single-family homes nationwide, according to a Pew Trust report that came out last year. Kelman said that some out-of-town investors today are tracking damaged homes, such as in Florida, to find deals. He said that when he recently visited one of the Redfin offices in Florida, his employees told him that investors were actually calling as Hurricane Ian made landfall. "We were trying to tour properties that the National Guard had closed, that were literally submerged. We would have had to visit the property by boat," Kelman recounted. So in other words, as people are suffering and losing their homes and everything in them, the vulture investors are trying to buy the properties for future use. Buy low, rebuild, and then sell high. Kelman is quoted as saying, "Even as the regular residents of Florida are calling us, almost in tears, because they're standing on their 2nd floor balcony and they're up to their knees in water, there's another group of people coming from all over the world who see this as an investment opportunity." Remember, unlike regular buyers who most likely will have a loan, investors usually pay for cash, so they don't have to worry about disaster insurance or flood insurance if they don't want to. So I'm just trying to figure out if Kelman is enabling the investors and supporting them, even if it hurts the locals, or if he's simply just serving the areas that Redfin works in and reporting back to us. I dug a little deeper and read some of the tweets regarding the Florida situation. I did find this one where he says that he's giving employees time off to put their lives back together, but customers keep calling. So I guess he cares about his employees because he's giving them time off, but I don't know if he really cares about the locals as much as doing business. What do you guys think? Is Kelman part of the problem, or is he simply just a reporter of events happening? Definitely comment below, because I honestly am a little confused about where he stands on this, in my opinion, horrendous thing that's happening. Regardless, it sounds like investors are still on the prowl, even with this changing market. Which brings us to Canada. In response to investors' buying frenzy, Canada, which is also dealing with an unaffordable housing market, decided to take a very hard stance. And Kelman is impressed with it. At the start of 2023, Canadian government enacted a ban on foreigners buying homes in Canada for 2 years. The law provides exceptions for purchases made by immigrants and permanent residents of Canada, CNN reported. And Kelman said he was impressed and shocked at what Canada did. At one level, it's just a massive self-inflicted wound to the economy, he said. But on another level, it's a real commitment to making housing more affordable for Canadians, he added. While the United States frets over a shortage in supply of homes available for eager buyers, Canada just said screw it. They pulled the cord, Kelman said. He goes on to say that the real estate industry in Canada will be terrible for a while, especially for sellers. But ultimately, he thinks a new generation of Canadians is going to be able to afford a place, and so that was a pretty bold move. I do agree with him. That was a very bold move. I don't think Canada was the first to do this. I think New Zealand also previously put a ban on foreigners buying property in New Zealand. So we'll have to see how it works out for them. I know in our country that we do have a lot of foreign money that comes in to buy single family homes, but we also have a lot of investors in our own country that buy up a lot of these homes. So let's see what happens with Canada, but I don't know if our country would do that. What do you guys think? So what do you guys think about Glen Kelman? On the one hand, he has been a major player in the investor market and has contributed to the housing problem. But on the other hand, he seems to sympathize with the affordability crisis and supports drastic action to ultimately reconcile the housing market. Definitely comment below. I really want to hear everybody's opinion on him and what he's saying in this article, because I go back and forth. All right, let's switch gears a little bit and take a look at Redfin's data for the 4-week period that ends January 1st to see what's happening right now in the housing market, and will give us an idea of the trend moving forward. New listings of homes for sale were down 22.4% from a year earlier, dropping to their lowest level on record. Active listings, the number of homes listed for sale at any point during this period, were up 18.6% from a year earlier, the biggest annual increase since at least 2015. The months of supply, a measure of the balance between supply and demand, calculated by dividing the number of active listings by closed sales, was 3.4 months, up slightly from a week earlier and up 1.8 months from a year earlier. Homes that sold were on the market for a median of 42 days, up nearly 2 weeks from 30 days from a year earlier, and up from the record low of 18 days set in May. On average, 3.8% of homes for sale each week had a price drop, down sharply from 4.7% a week earlier and 5.7% a month earlier. I wonder if that's just because there's less homes on the market, so less homes are getting a price reduction, or maybe sellers are starting to price their homes appropriately. The average sale to list price ratio, which measures how close homes are selling to their final asking price, fell to 98% from 100.1% a year earlier. That's the lowest level since March of 2020. So this data is all for the 4 weeks leading up to January 1st, which takes into account the holidays, the end of the year. So I think next week and the weeks after that, the coming weeks, we'll definitely get more of an idea of how sellers are pricing their homes, if they're putting their homes on the market, because we definitely still need more inventory. So take this for what it is, but I think we'll know more in the coming weeks. I hope you got some value out of today's video. If you did get some value and you want to show our channel some support, definitely smash that like button, comment below, and subscribe to our channel. It just motivates us to make more videos. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Bye!